How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Manatee Gaming. I don't even know why I'm saying that because you're a patron already, so thank you so much for being a patron. It really does make a huge difference. It allows me to continue making content, finding cool stuff like this for you. So yeah, here we go. Jumping onto this. This is a new money-making method. This one doesn't really have any kind of requirements as far as I remember. If I'm wrong about that, then I'll make a note later, but I don't really think there was any kind of requirements for this one. So you can do this on an alt, do whatever you want, I'm pretty sure. So let's go ahead and throw it in there. Polar camo legs. So polar camo legs, and also sometimes polar camo tops, I would assume, are very profitable to make. So this method is going to be making these, and this is something that not really anybody ever makes them. So due to that, they get really expensive. As you can see, the Grand Exchange mid price right here is $88.54, but we are going to be selling these for $14,939 is what I put them in there for right now. But I would imagine you'd have no problem stretching them even further than this. So just because I'm using about 15,000 gold each in this video does not mean you have to use 15,000 gold each. You can try to sell them for more if you want to. In order to make one of these, you just have to have 2 of the pieces of the polar kebbit fur. So 2 pieces of polar kebbit fur is going to be enough to make these, and that comes to a grand total of 58.38, which means that you get a little bit more than 9,000 profit each. And also, I've been able to buy these polar kebbit furs for a low buy, so I was able to buy them for less than the Grand Exchange price. So if you are in the mood of being a little bit more patient and trying to make more profit, which is highly recommended, then you can do that by simply just putting in a lower offer, and then you can probably get both of these for 5,000 or something like that, and you'll end up making a square 10,000 profit per polar kebbit that you go make, per piece of armor, sorry, which ends up making a lot of money. So how do we need to set up our gear here? Basically, for this, you don't need any actual gear, but setting up your inventory properly is going to be something very helpful. I've got my air rune, law rune, and fire rune right here. My recommendation for this actually is to take all 3 of these runes, stick them in a rune pouch, and then equip the rune pouch, because that'll make it so you don't have to have any kind of runes in your inventory. You can also wear the mystical staff or another staff that gives you elemental runes and that stuff like that, because that way you will be able to teleport without using the fires. That saves you even more space. So now you don't have to have any spaces used up in your inventory. I'm doing it right now just because of the fact that I'm making this video. I'm not going to set this up as the optimum, although I probably should to show you, but I'm just going to explain as we go anyway. So imagine like these 3 are not here. They're actually in our rune pouch. That will allow you to have 28 pieces of the polar kebbit fur right here, and the 28 pieces of polar kebbit fur, wow, that's kind of hard to say, are going to fit perfectly in your inventory pouch right there, and then you'll be able to trade those in for 14 of the armors. Now, what you can also do is you can, in addition to this, you can have a yak or a mammoth that is full of the polar kebbit furs, and that will allow you to make way more of the armor. What you can do actually is once you have these made, so you'll end up with 14 of the armors in your pouch, and then you can grab more furs from your pack yak or your mammoth, whichever one it is. Then those will go into your inventory as well. You can take your finished armors, shove them in your pack yak or whatever it is, and withdraw more furs. You get the idea. You basically just rotate around so you're able to make all of the armors, and that will allow you to be able to make, let's see, about 14 plus 15. You can make 29 total pieces per trip. And one trip is going to take you somewhere right around 50 seconds or so. You can probably get that time down a little bit, but with having to move stuff around the yak and stuff like that, it's probably going to be right around 50 seconds, which means you're going to be getting about 70 to 80, maybe a little bit more if you're fast, runs per hour, which is going to make this method pretty dang profitable. So let's go and look on the high end of this. But we'll go on the realistic high end. We're not going to do an unrealistic amount. If you guys are able to make more money than what I say in these guides, then that's awesome. I'm just not going to give you guys an unrealistic version of it. I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible. So if we're making 29 pieces of armor and we're making 10,000 profit each one, then that's going to be 290,000 gold per run. And if we're doing 80 runs per hour, that means this method is going to make you about 23.2 million gold per hour. And my cat is going to need to be quiet while we're making this video. So that means about 23.2 million gold per hour is how much you can expect to make if you're doing 80 trips per hour and you're doing 29 pieces per hour, and then also if these you know, the finished pieces and everything stay at the same price. So a lot of givens there, which means that over time the prices and stuff could change. Just keep in mind But anyway, let's go and run through it. So this basically is how you do a run. You're going to want to have, as far as gear setup, the only thing you really need to have with you is going to be that pouch that has your teleports. That's why you don't want to use you don't want to use tabs, because tabs are going to be taking up more space. Although I can't remember if you can actually put tabs. Let's look at that real quick, actually. I'm going to double check while we're making this video. I can't remember if you can actually put tabs into your worn pouch. No, you can't. Okay, so use the rune pouch, and that way you don't have anything for inventory taking up. And then only thing you're gonna need besides that is a teleport back to the bank. So I'm using my max cape. You can use whatever you want to. If you don't have like a Tokul Zo or something like that, you can always just use a dual ring, which sits down nicely. You can also use a Luck of the Dwarves or a Fortune Ring or something like that. Although the only problem with Luck of the Dwarves and Fortune Ring is that bank is actually kind of a little bit farther away. Like you have to run up to the Grand Exchange. So using a Ring of Dueling is actually probably better. If you use the invention item that'll allow you to pack 100 charges on each Ring of Dueling, that's going to save you a lot of swapping in the bank. So let's go ahead and do this run. So basically you just need to have your Varrock's teleport spell ready to go. So click your Varrock teleport spell. That will send you to the center of Varrock, which is nice. You don't want to use a lodestone for this, because doing the lodestone will send you too far south and it'll take longer to do this. Once you get here, you just run over here. It's also not a bad idea. If you are using the rune pouch, that means you don't actually have to use the mystical staff if you don't want to. And you can use something that has surge, like a weapon that has surge. Or if you have surge in your armor too, that's going to be helpful. That way you can use mobile more often. But anyways, surge as much as you possibly can. Go over here to this gate in the southeast corner, and you're going to go to the fancy dress store. Once you get to the fancy dress store here, you can tell it's fancy because through the rainbow thing outside. So we got right here, you're going to trade the fancy dress shop owner. You're going to actually click on first shop. So once you do first shop, it's going to open up this interface here, and we're going to see that the polar camo legs, because that's the one we're going to be making right now, requires you to have 2 of the pieces of polar camo fur and then 20 gold pieces. You can literally just spam the buy button like this. And there you go, they're already made. So as you can see, it's extremely fast to make them. They don't take hardly any time at all. It's not like you don't have to like sit there and craft them or anything. So they're extremely fast. Once they're done, then you can just click your teleport, go back to the bank, and restock. So as you can see, if you get quick at it, you can definitely get a good amount of runs. I'd say doing 80 per hour is not unrealistic by any means. Just keep in mind, though, it might take a little bit more time if you're going to be swapping stuff back and forth between like a pack yak or something like that, which is recommended, though, because doing that's going to allow you to make way more of these pieces per hour. So overall, though, this ends up being a really great method to make some good money, especially like just a very easy, simple method. Doesn't have any high-level requirements or anything like that, and can definitely get you rates above 20 million per hour. Well, alright guys, thank you so much once again for being a member of the chat. And you see those Blightbound crossbows next to us? Well, hopefully using these methods are going to get you guys some cool items like that and help you to achieve your goals in RuneScape. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Have a good one.